Okay, good morning everybody. This is biology class for grade 10 and today we'll be discussing about nutrient cycle. Okay, a quick one. What are nutrients? You should know that nutrient is gotten from the word nutrition, which means we take in food and water to get growth. So living organisms go through nutrition process because we have to take in some nutrients so we can grow. So when we talk about nutrient cycle, remember that the word cycle is circle. I know that the shape circle keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on and on like that. Okay, so that is why we call it nutrient cycle. That means they go on and on, they go back to the point, then start again, back to the point, then start again. Okay, so in this chapter we'll be discussing 3 nutrient cycles. First, the carbon cycle, the water cycle, and the nitrogen cycle. But in this class, we'll only discuss the carbon cycle. So we'll start with the carbon cycle. All right. So we know that in living organisms, they are made up of carbon. Okay, they are made up of carbon. Okay, they have carbon in all tissues in a living organism. So how does this carbon go around and it never finish? Is what we are going to discuss today. Look at this. This shows an overview of the carbon cycle. You can note 3 or 4 words. 1, combustion, respiration, photosynthesis, and decomposition. When you hear the word combustion, let it come to your mind as burning. Okay? Respiration, breathing. Photosynthesis, making food that is done by plants. Okay, so let's start. Let's go to the first step of the carbon cycle. What happens? Look at this diagram. You will see these 2 arrows in 2 different colors. We have the red and the yellow. Okay, this red represents a process called combustion. This is a factory. They are burning fossil fuel like coal, and the smoke is coming out. In this smoke, we have CO2, which is carbon dioxide. Okay? So this CO2 coming from the smoke is released into the atmosphere. That's combustion. Okay? So combustion releases carbon into the atmosphere. The yellow one represents respiration. This is an animal breathing. We breathe in oxygen, then we breathe out CO2. So as you're breathing, you're also releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So respiration also releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This is a bird and this is a tree. So when living organisms, when we respirate, when we breathe out, we are releasing carbon to the atmosphere. So the 2 processes that releases carbon into the atmosphere is 1, what's this? Combustion and respiration. So if you have a question that says that identify or name 2 processes that releases carbon into the atmosphere, you should know that the red is for combustion and the yellow is for respiration. Step 1, done. We go to step 2. So in step 2, you can see that we have an extra arrow, which is the blue one. We know that the red is combustion, the yellow is respiration. Now we have the blue one. The blue one represents a process called photosynthesis. The photosynthesis process is a process where plants make their own food. Okay? So this gives carbon to the atmosphere. Respiration gives carbon to the atmosphere. However, photosynthesis takes carbon away from the atmosphere. So the CO2 that is released by these 2 processes is taken from the atmosphere into the leaves or the plants. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. Combustion, respiration, photosynthesis. Okay? Combustion gives CO2 to the atmosphere. Respiration gives CO2 to the atmosphere. But photosynthesis takes CO2 out of the atmosphere. Okay, so when the CO2 is taken into the plants, then the plant contains carbon. you can see this animal feeding on this plant. This animal feeding on this plant. Then the carbon that is in the plant is transferred into the animals because they are feeding on, they are eating this. And this has carbon. So that takes us to step 3. Let's do a recap. Step 1, carbon enters the atmosphere through combustion and respiration. Good. Step 2, CO2 is absorbed by leaves or plants through photosynthesis. Now, we go to step 3. Look at this. This animal, and even humans would feed on this. When they feed on this, they take in the carbon, okay? So when they take in the carbon, eventually they die. Alright? So when they die, they still have carbon, okay? And decomposers would then come and feed on the dead organisms, okay? You remember in the last class we said decomposers are organisms that feed on dead waste or dead organic matter, okay? So that's where we have the process called decomposition. So the composers will come, this will die eventually, this will die eventually. Then the composers will come and feed on this, and feed on this. Then there is release of fossils, and the fossils will go back into the factory as fossil fuels, and it will be burnt again, and then the process will start round and round and round again. So let's use this diagram to summarize the carbon cycle. Look at this. This diagram summarizes the carbon cycle. Remember, combustion by burning of fossil fuels in factories and everywhere. Okay, that's combustion. Respiration. Okay, respiration by breathing. Okay, so we have respiration. So CO2 is also going into the atmosphere through respiration. Then CO2 is taken out of the atmosphere through photosynthesis. Okay, so the plants already contain carbon. Then the animals will feed on the plant. You can see here we have feeding. Okay, and here also the animals would their urine and their feces also contain carbon. They go into the soil. Okay, and the composers would consume them or feed on them. Okay, and then it will release carbon compound, and then we have fossilization. The fossilization is the production of fossil fuels, and the fossil fuels goes back in, and the process starts again. Combustion, photosynthesis, respiration, decomposition. Combustion, photosynthesis, respiration, decomposition. Okay, so we have homework to do in page, you have your booklet with you at home, I'm sure. So you go to page 63, then you do the homework, and in the next class we'll start from there. So you go to page 63 and you do your homework on page 63.